They're staying out.
No, I was actually being considerate to your son who may
Right.
want to sit down. I'm not going to be afraid.
Well, he's definitely your age, David.
Yeah, well, I think I'm older than him.
What can I do for what's happening today?
I am having more difficulty, and of course I've been in the hospital with acute bronchitis, and even that, I could have gone in a week earlier probably and not had all that nonsense if I had gotten antibiotics, but I didn't. And I can't tell you how much ground I've lost since I was in there. I mean, I recognized it myself. I was, walking like this with people on each side. And I think I'm trying to get my way back from that.
Mm-hmm.
But what I probably never mentioned, never had a reason, both my wrists are really bothering me, mainly this one. To the extent that when I get my food, I can't take the knife and cut through a waffle. I ended up picking it up and eating it.
Okay.
I suppose I could if I were going to starve,
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't been.
And that's been since you've gotten out of the hospital, or has that been something that was going on prior to that?
It has been going on, but now it's getting to where it's interfering with much too much.
It's progressively gotten worse. She can't hold a book in bed. It's uncomfortable to hold a book, which is really.
Now, with her PMR, where were the main places where it would flare up? The polymyalgia rheumatica?
My legs, mainly.
Just mainly in the legs. So you never really had a problem in the hands or
No,
wrists before?
No,
You had carpal tunnel, the thing.
those both operate. I've had
So
both
you've had
systems.
carpal
Yeah.
tunnel procedure on both sides?
Yeah. And I think all of this damage starts from the fall I had, which ended up with the shoulder surgery. At this point, I can't do this. That gesture.
Because of pain right there in the wrist?
Yeah.
Okay,
The arm itself doesn't move.
But it started with the shoulder surgery, I
okay.
think. And then I lost the balance and fell on my face in East Northport with the preventing constantly. And I mean 10 times.
Easily.
And in the hospital, taken out to the hospital, I had my hip pinned. This hip is also broken, they shattered my pelvis. I mean, not little things. I think the total effect, I'm feeling it now. My back bothers me. I'm on my feet 5 minutes. That's all new.
So the wrist, the back, and
I don't pay attention to my legs anymore because I've got
Okay.
too many other things.
Can I say something?
Yeah. What would you like to say, Susan?
Hi, I'm in. The back, all of those falls, and she did have maybe even more than that. It could be easily 20 falls. I'm talking since 2011 to now. A lot of that really fell under, she was weak from the surgery, but they were trying different medications. She was on very strong painkillers, which finally somebody from HSS said, you gotta get her off these, because it was really throwing off her balance. It was a whole weaning process, and the falls gets less and less. And she hasn't fallen in a year, and she's no longer on there's no constant heavy duty pain narcotic.
If I fall anymore, I'm gonna resign my membership in the human race.
The pain in her, what she's been feeling is talking about, and I'm listening to this since the summer, more aches and pains in her back, in her lower back, in both her arms. She actually went to the orthopedist and got an injection, a cortisone injection in her left arm. Now, the surgery was on the right arm. This is all in the last 4 months. It's been progressively
what did
becoming
the
more.
orthopedic feel was the cause behind?
He thought it was part of the spinal stenosis, that it was old fractures. He's done, not recently, but he's done MRIs, full body MRIs on she's got healed fractures, things that didn't require surgery, all over from the falls. And he's been her orthopedist through all of that. He did an x-ray of her shoulder, and it didn't show anything, it didn't show like a damage enough to do surgery on. So we tried that, and it worked. It worked for
That
probably,
being
the injection in her shoulder
Okay.
worked on her arm, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna say it worked for probably 2 months maybe, because she started mentioning that again.
Mhm.
And that seems about right for the course of it. She's had epidural injections in her back, where you can only do 3 a year. The last one was in June.
Mhm.
That was for the spinal stenosis, for severe pain in her lower back, which was referring pain to her knees. So what she's talking about now is really, it's been building and building, but it's because she's been away from away from these injections that were supposed to help her with those conditions. The one that's new, that's really is new, is her wrist.
Okay. Is she going back to see the orthopedist anytime soon?
Yeah, we have an appointment.
Didn't you say?
No. I think it's next week, we have an appointment for him.
Okay.
And he's quick to get into, and he knows.
Okay.
Now, my other question is, I don't know what sort of a painkiller I have or might have. The only thing I use at home is Tylenol, and it's not doing the trick.
Okay.
In almost any case, I mean, getting up in the morning is really tough. Now, I know that's probably arthritis and age, but in my head, I know that at some point in my past, I took naproxen. Is that for pain?
Hmm?
All right.
It's an anti-inflammatory medication.
Well, then I think that sounds like a pretty
You
good.
have a painkiller at home, you have Nicinta.
I don't want the pain pill.
Isn't that what you just asked for?
Naproxen I mentioned because I know that I got that from arthritic problems.
Well, the naproxen is a little different. I think the
I
one
take
you
that.
was talking about, the previous one, may be a
That's it.
narcotic.
It's,
Yeah.
it's for her stomach as well as her pain, that's what
You know, the naproxen is an anti-inflammatory without a narcotic. So,
Well, I
You
think
know.
anti-inflammatory is more or less what I need.
okay. All right. So naproxen had worked for you in the past.
Yes, it has.
Okay. Past, since this has been going on, or past
I
before
never
this
was.
was going.
I never was with
I
her,
know,
but
she
she
sat
had
here,
medicine.
she sat here before and told me, twice I told the nurse that, asked her about naproxen, and I said, I had it in the past. She says, no, you didn't, you never did. And of course, this is ridiculous, she wasn't with me when I was 50.
Okay. Okay. Any other complaints or issues?
No, no.
Your ankles.
Well, my ankles are are slightly swollen, which doesn't usually show because I have thin ankles anyway,
Mm-hmm.
but they are swollen, and it could be, Suzanne thinks, from the.
It is. They changed her blood pressure medication in the hospital. They said that I said I was seeing you today,
Mm-hmm.
and I said I'll stick with the prescription they did, but they took away the hydrochlorothiazide, and they
Hydrochlorothiazide?
left it, they left the Metroplo, and they added Norvasc instead of the hydrochlorothiazide. So she's on the Norvasc since last Sunday. By Wednesday, her ankle starts swelling.
Norvasc has a side effect of causing swelling in the ankles. So Norvasc might not be the best medication
And I don't
for
think
you.
they said she had, it wasn't like they were saying, don't take the other one, so it's really up to you what she does with the bleeding.
Well, I wouldn't continue the Norvasc if, you know, again, it's causing swelling in the ankles because that is a
Well,
side
that's
effect of it.
in less than a week's time.
Well, usually with
Like-
medications, that side effect, you know, will show up pretty rapidly if it's gonna occur. Now, we can go back to the hydrochlorothiazide.
That's what you're on, that's what you were on.
Anything, I mean, I only just got this, and it was Suzanne who suggested, I don't remember what you suggested.
I'm sure you disagree with it.
No, I imagine that you're probably right, because I wondered why they put me on that. My sister had that, and she had a heart problem. And I know
Well, Norvasc is a blood pressure medicine. So, again, you know, which you have in a history of high blood pressure, you know, that's probably what, you know, why they chose that.
The pill is definitely effective, I'll say that, because my pressure at one point was very high in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Today, and after that, it was.
What was it today? Did we know?
Close to
It was
normal.
190 in the ER, but you know,
Oh, but here
You've had
today.
I don't know. You've had it
I'll get the number.
controlled.
Mhm.
It's been controlled with the medication she was taking. I mean, prior to them putting
I've had
Norvasc.
high blood pressure since, I've probably had it all my life, but it was detected when I was 30, and I've been on medication ever since.
Okay, all right. Any other?
Isn't that enough?
I just want to give you an opportunity because I don't want you to vent on me.
You are just a scared man.
No, I'm not a scared man. I'm a man that chooses not to deal with certain things. That has nothing to do with fear. All right. So this is our up-to-date med list?
Yeah, but you know, so we're gonna need that prescription, but we also need, this is what I came in for like a month ago. She needs a renewal on Lyrica, and she needs a renewal on prednisone. Prednisone is the one that you said, well, I wanna look at that. She takes 2 milligrams a day,
Well,
so.
again, when we talked last, and this was the mix-up, was the last time we spoke was in the summer in July. And the last from our conversation was she was weaning off of it.
Yeah.
And then when I was approached about refilling it, without seeing her, it was in October, which is months
That's
later.
okay, yeah.
So I just, again, at 86, prednisone is a serious medication. So I just wanted to confirm, because a mistake can be deadly, and I didn't want to make a mistake. So the prednisone, she's still taking 1 milligram a day?
2 milligrams a day.
2
1 milligram pills a day.
Gotcha.
And we'll need that.
Is that all right to take?
Well, that will help, with some of the pains that you're having, probably. Because, again, one of the benefits of it, and it's used with conditions like PMR or polymyalgia rheumatica, is it helps reduce.
That's out the window at this point.
Well, it helps as far as reducing the inflammation. And by reducing the inflammation, it can help as far as reducing the pain.
I was on such a high dosage from my Maryland doctor, with good reason, but I didn't know it was as high as it was, and high enough, and it caused enough of a reaction when my next door neighbor, elderly people like myself, she said to her husband, find out what medicine that is that Reni's on. I was up climbing on my beds, putting curtains up,
Painting the house,
She's calling us in New
I
York.
had more
so-
energy than I knew what to do with, and it was because they started me on 40 milligrams.
Okay. So, Lyrica
Lyrica and
is still
prednisone.
25 milligrams
Yeah.
a day?
Um,
Okay, and the prednisone is 2
2
of them a
Right,
day?
exactly.
Gotcha.
And then with that, what I was trying to do is the prednisone she can get through Express Scripts. The Lyrica she can't, she has to go through
So
CVS.
it's better right there for 90 days,
Yeah, it
the
would be.
prednisone.
Yeah, but the thing is, then I think I would need one for like a week, because if it goes right through to Express Scripts, I'm not sure how many I have left. We may run out of them before we get it from Express Scripts.
Okay.
One more question about the prednisone.
Yes, ma'am.
My understanding when they first started to reduce what I was taking was that I could never stop taking it. But then when I got down to 10 milligrams and 5, they said the thing is, your body stopped producing what it needed by prednisone completely with the dosage you were taking, and you can't get off it until your body has resumed. How do you find out?
Well, the way you would come off of it is you would have to slowly come off of it. It's not something you can just
So
stop
this is
abruptly.
very slow, from 40 to 1.
But again, what happens is that your body produces natural steroids or
That's it.
prednisone,
Yeah,
and by you taking a prednisone, it suppresses that ability.
I know that told me I
And
probably had it
there's some
turned
blood
off.
tests that we can do to check to see if that function is resumed, but it won't resume as long as you're taking prednisone. So since you're still taking prednisone, I don't think it's necessary to really check that at this point in time.
I don't wanna be taking it when I'm 90.
Why not? You're 86.
Now, the one thing I would say to you is going to probably help out a lot with your pains, because without it, all of these little joints and places where you're having discomfort, they're going to probably speak a little louder.
I don't want them speaking any louder.
Any other questions? All right. Mind if I do an examination? All right. Okay. I'm just going to touch here. Any pain if I do that?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. Any pain if I do that?
Pain is right here with
So if I touch right there, that hurts.
Yeah, that's the slowest,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
if I try to turn it this way, I'm doing it now and it doesn't hurt.
Okay.
But that's a direction I can't usually do. It's
Okay.
not,
Can you squeeze my hand? Okay. Can you squeeze me on this side?
no problem.
Okay. You want me to take a look at your ankles? You mind if I take a look?
He's the doctor, let him do it now.
Well, that's not bad. It's, all right. I thought I had to take the shoe off.
No, you don't. I can see that you
Yeah,
do.
that's a little tender there as well.
Has it been painful? Your
No,
ankles?
no, not that I know of, but when you press it like that, yes, I can feel
Well,
it's
it just
quite
started.
tender.
It just started, I think we just.
Again, that could be because I'm not doing a lot of moving, and I am not.
She has therapy now in the house.
Okay, how's that going?
Just started,
Okay,
in-house therapy
so-
and nurse visits, so
All right.
you'll be back on
I
your
told
feet.
her he's overestimating me to begin with.
Okay.
I know I can't do, and it's not that I'm convincing myself mentally, I really can't do what I could do a year ago.
Well, I don't think that's what the therapy is going to focus on. Really, I think the therapy is going to focus on mainly you getting to do the main functional stuff around the house. Sitting up, standing up, using your walker, and that's where they're gonna start. You know, unfortunately, at 86, you go to the hospital for 3, 4, 5 days, a week, it can unfortunately, like you just noticed, put you back as far as your function. So
Absolutely.
we call that deconditioning, and even though physical therapy a lot of times is pointed out for wrist pain, back pain, shoulder pain, whatever, that we also use it for deconditioning when somebody has been in a situation where they've been in the bed, like in the hospital, and it allows them to try to get back as much strength as they can.
And I was in Stony Brook, and I was very surprised. I said, my stay there, I said, if you want me in the hospital longer, that's okay, I'm not gonna fight that, but it's not gonna be here.
And it was a fabulous hospital. It's a fabulous hospital.
Yeah, well, I said to Suzanne, why are we going all the way up here? And that was her answer, it's the best hospital, which I don't doubt. I think it's for research and for serious surgery.
It's his hospital.
I know. Well, I wouldn't recommend, if you ever saw what I had, you wouldn't want your mother there, let's put it that way.
She had a great stay, I'm telling you.
I'm sorry, but I was just so.
We got to the ER at 7:30 at night. She was in a hospital room at 10:30 in bed.
Okay,
I
thought
was
you were listening
blown
in there until the
away.
morning.
No, I was blown. They
Take
were
a deep breath for me. Again. 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 How's the appetite been?
It's all right,
How's it using the bathroom? Any difficulties at all?
not so far.
No constipation, nothing like that?
No, couldn't compare with my facilities at Stony Brook, I'll tell you that.
Oh, he's so
I
good.
was in a
He's going.
triangular bathroom that was also used to dump the fluids and all that, and it was dirty, and I told them that finally. And they wouldn't let me out of the bed, and the door was there, and I was here. And I had to spring for somebody constantly, and nobody would come. It was Christmas weekend. They were very overbooked. I mean, not overbooked, I just said I wish they had not.
A lot of people book in
Well,
on
they
the
were,
weekend.
They were attentive.
It's a popular
beyond belief.
weekend.
They were. It was only last weekend, and they really were very responsive.
Okay, let me say, Stony Brook has a wonderful nursing staff. They were absolutely terrific, all of them. And I don't doubt that all the service people are. I just didn't see that many of them.
Okay.
And the bathroom, and I'm not exaggerating, I said, I wish you would go and take a look at the bathroom you have me using. I was the only one in the group because I was the only one who was walking. Just unbelievable. I don't want to get started on it
It was.
again. And I had what they call an elderly bed,
Mm-hmm.
wobbles, the
It
mattress,
vibrates.
massages, and the bed itself is on a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked them to please stop, I don't sleep well to begin with. And you can hear the motor right underneath all night long. I never slept for 3 nights. And when she came up, I said, I'm leaving here regardless of what anyone says.
Okay.
And they called me to ask me how the thing was, and I raved about it and told them I'd recommend it to anyone. They were so attentive and nice and informative. And when my brother showed up during the blizzard and I couldn't, and he missed the doctor heard he was in the room and came back to bring him up to date. And they did x-rays and CAT scans and checked her and blood work. It was phenomenal. I was very impressed.
Okay, so we understand there's a difference of opinion on what went on, so we can move past.
So moving forward, just to review, I'm gonna do an X-ray of the wrist.
I thought so.
Again, you know, it looks like it could be some flare-up of inflammation here. If you
Yeah.
notice here, this looks a little more prominent.
Yeah.
Here, they call this the
This-
MCP joint.
When I first came up with the pain, and I had tremendous pain with it, the doctor told me at the time that it had to be operated on. He said, you've let it go too long. And then he pointed out that my hand was literally in. So they did it on this hand too, although it wasn't anywhere near
Then
here.
you're talking about the carpal tunnel.
Yeah,
Okay.
he said, I had a big crater here and one here, and that's new, but this pain never bothered me. This one really did.
And she does a lot of reading, and she can't hold the book at this point. So that's what's critical right now.
But it was, I mean, it was a waffle. I mean, I'm giving her waffles for breakfast, and she, because of where it is, she couldn't maneuver the knife, and she was
Oh,
just
I could
picking
see
up the
that.
waffle,
Yeah,
the
I
waffle
could
in her
see
hand, so.
Okay. Yeah, so I would recommend we can do anti-inflammatory. Now the thing with naproxen is just to be very careful and take it with something on your stomach, because sometimes these anti-inflammatory medications can definitely cause like heartburn or indigestion. So
I have heartburn now.
okay,
When do you take that, at night or in the morning, or does it matter?
the naproxen.
Yeah.
You can take it up to twice a day.
Okay.
So it's once every 12 hours, only if you're having pain. If you don't have pain, you don't need to take it.
Okay.
It's another pill, you know. This will be an additional pill. You realize that?
Now, I know we've had this conversation about pills before. There is another anti-inflammatory gel that you can apply. I'm not saying it is as good as or better than naproxen, but it's in that ballpark. And you can put it on up to 4 times a day. You know,
Okay, I buy that.
you'd rather the pill.
Well, wait a minute, I have a question though. The naproxen will help her wrist, but it will also help her back or her
Oh yeah,
legs.
naproxen will be
You're not
systemically.
gonna be able to
you
do
know.
that
Can
all
I
over
have
you.
both?
I can give you both, but again, if you put this here, it's not going to work anyplace else other than here.
If she puts it here, she can't take the naproxen as well.
You can take the naproxen, but again, I wouldn't do
Either
it.
or.
I would do either or.
Well, the reason I'm saying about the gel is that I frequently, as a matter of fact, I did ask you to cut up what is the name of them? The heating pads.
Oh, I forget, thermocare.
And I thought, oh my God, if I could just wrap that around my wrist. It never worked. I mean, I don't know what happened to it, but I didn't get it. But it's still in my mind because that's how it feels. I feel as though I should be doing something.
Now, another thing that could be contributing to it, the walker, and I'm not saying, I know she's been using it for a while,
She's
but,
not doing a lot of walking, seriously not.
but again, the deconditioning with the hospital,
Yeah.
after that, things that were rudimentary or basic before,
Very
now
important.
become a little more challenging and a little more stressful
It's supposed to be
I know
to
temporary.
different parts of the
I
body.
know what the problem is and I know how to solve it.
Here we
I
go.
want a new one.
Oh, they had a walker in the hospital, I didn't see it, but she's been raving about it. It wasn't a
It's the same-
rollator.
It's the same as this, but they didn't have sneakers on the bed.
So it had 4 wheels.
4 wheels, and it was smooth. It operated. This I am pushing, because we have all carpets. And
Okay. Do you want me to give you a script for a new walker?
Yes,
Would that
She-
work
that
for
you'd
you?
make her
Yes,
day.
absolutely.
Look at that, you get a
Then
prize.
she's gonna go roller skating out the front door.
I can't wait, so 4 wheels. you
4
really-
wheel rolling walker.
I already have a rollator in the room.
I know, it's different though, it's not the same as
I
this.
understand that it's different, but this is very hard to push and maneuver.
Okay,
And that probably also is aggravating the wrist.
Bingo.
Great minds think alike.
so
Okay.
what are we doing now? We're
Plan
gonna-
of action is I'll give you a script for a walker. We're going to do an X-ray to assess. I think it's probably inflammation.
Yeah.
That's just flared up. Now again, just to keep your mind working, you may want to look at, are there some means of maybe some type of book stand that you can place? Or,
She won't do it, she won't do Kindle, she has a Kindle, she won't use any of these things that make her life easier. She
Okay.
wants the book.
Okay.
In her
Well, I
hand.
mean, if there may be, some of those stands you can put the book on, so instead of her having to hold it, she can still have the book
I
up
used to
reading.
have one, but she's not really stating that correctly. Certain books, this thick, not
You
necessarily hard
I
cover.
got you.
She brought home one, and I'm reading it now, and I thought, this is great, I like it very much.
Mm.
But I had to be sitting up, I couldn't read that while I was lying down
Okay.
at all.
These are things like something for your bed, we have a hospital table, we have that swinging table.
Mhm.
Something could sit on the hospital table that you could put the book on.
I don't know if you play Scrabble, but they have like those bigger versions of what you put the letters on. You can use that sometimes for books. So that may be an idea. So plan of action, X-ray. I guess naproxen sounds like
Yeah.
that option for now. Again, I'll go low strength
Mhm.
with the naproxen. 1 tablet every 12 hours as needed.
Mhm.
If there's no pain, you don't need to take it. When you do take it with some food on the stomach. Refill of the Lyrica,
Right.
refill of the prednisone,
Yeah.
and a script for a walker.
Right.
Are we good to go?
Yeah, the prednisone you were gonna give me like a
90
week.
days and in a week.
Yeah.
2
Do
tablets.
you send straight to Express Scripts or do I need to for the 90 days?
I'll give you the script and they can fax it at the front
Great,
desk.
okay.
Okay? Anything else we need to cover? And you're gonna be starting the physical therapy at home, correct? Okay. That should be kind of helpful just to allow you to gain some of the traction that you lost while you were in the hospital.
That would be wonderful, because I'm so conscious all the time of what I can't do now, or I'm wary of doing.
Okay, well, but again, that's an important thing to know is what you can't do so you don't do it and something bad happen. Anything else?
No. David, do you have any questions?
No.
Comments, concerns?
Okay, so let me get everything. The hydrochlorothiazide, why don't we go back with that, just to go back to the one issue we didn't to close up, which is the blood pressure. We'll go back to the hydrochlorothiazide. I believe the amlodipine or Norvasc, that medication is what's causing the swelling in your ankles. And looking at it, it looks typical of the side effect of swelling that you would see. Okay?
That sounds good to
Okay,
me.
this is gonna, I'm a pain in the ass. Can I have like a week of hydrochlorothiazide, and then another one to Express Scripts?
So those are the only 2 that you need a week?
Yeah, because I think that I'll run out of.
No, I understand.
Yeah,
I just want to
yeah,
make sure
just
because there's
those
a
two.
3rd medication,
Lyrica?
the Lyrica.
Yeah, no, I think we're, okay, Lyrica, because we have to do that at CVS anyway.
Okay, all right. Is that her up-to-date
Yes.
stuff since hospitalization?
Since hospitalization,
Okay,
yes.
so I'll just make a
Oh,
copy
and
of that and I'll bring
this is the, I didn't write it down, this is the antibiotic she's on, and she's on until Sunday,
for the
from the
lungs.
hospital, yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
all right. And the lungs sound better.
yeah,
Okay,
you can have that, I don't need that back.
all right. Let me get everything and I'll bring it right back in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey, this was painless, huh?